So I'm pretty settled on my built up area. However, I have in the middle this large oval, this large expanse. This is going to be concrete down here because that's my loading area. There's going to be grass around the fringes and the corners. The question is whether I build this up or build the corners up. Still got some leftover Kingspan thermal board from my previous layout. So what I'm thinking is to cut that and just landscape and shape in the middle. Or alternatively, that could be paper mache. I could use it to build up the corners. So this stuff is really good. You've got the metallic outer, which you just peel off, and that gives you your nice expanded foam, which is very easy to cut. It's fairly messy, but not as bad as polystyrene. I think I'm going to go for the corners actually. Okay, so I've cut my corners, so I'll build them up. So I'll give me some edge protection, and then as I trim them down to shape them, that'll give me more bits which I can lay out around the edges too. So I've got nice and generous with the PVA because the foam will obviously soak it in a bit. There we go. I'm going to squidge it around a bit, make sure we've got it covered on the edges. Doesn't matter about it going over and onto the board because that's just sealing it more, and that's going to be covered anyway, although I will wipe out the excess. So there we go. Now we've got to leave that to set with a book on top. So let's have a look. Jamie Oliver and Rick Stein. There you go, weight it down and I'll leave that overnight with the heating on. So I've got a bit of Kingspan on each corner now. Pop the trains on just for the sake of it as well, as you can see, just to get a better visualisation. There's my bridge. So I've got it all ready. So the PVA seems to be dry. And the next stage tomorrow in the morning is to start trimming that down, make a gentle slope. And then with that I'll have extra bits here which you can come around and build up the edges just to try and make it look more kind of uniform and blended. That'd be cool. So we can have a bit of roadway here, big concrete and gravel and sand and mud and that, mixture of that. And then I've got to work out what to do here. It's going to be grassed, but I don't know quite how much terrain there's going to be. So remember, I start with a straight sort of triangle. Okay, so I've just started slicing the first one. A nice rough sort of cut, one of my kitchen knives. Flip over part of the cut bit, cut it to shape, that'll go in there. Another little sliver there. So that's going to be that section there, because obviously my road is going to come around here. So this will get some papier-mâché or something like that laying on it. Okay, so a bit of carving with a carving knife, bit of gluing with some PVA, and a bit of thought and effort. I've got myself a bit of landscaping at the edge to bring it to life a bit. So it sets it off fairly well. As an idea of the relief, it's not very high, maybe an inch maximum, well 25mm maximum, because that's the height of the Kingspan thermal board. That's more than enough to give it some depth of feeling. So I've still got this side to do, and then doesn't really need any down the long ends. So we've got a couple of locomotives and a few carriages on there kicking around now, just because they've arrived, and that'll keep them out of the way. A whole bunch of stuff's arrived. Look at all those. That's really good. Not so sure about these little trucks. They look too small. They're supposed to be 00 scale, but I don't know. They don't look right. They look tiny next to the trains.